attention.
Yeah, so I implemented it and it got like 200,000 users in like the span of 2 weeks. It was really, really good, but I think this is the next level. Would you like to come and try our prompts? Anybody? Could be anything.
Have it generate a wireframe diagram for exploration of a tree of thought. I don't know, exploration of using Miller columns and breadcrumbs and being able to show multiple different paths through a tree, color coded. But you'd have to make it a better prompt.
So the multi-modal tree of thought is actually going to handle all the prompting for you. So you just give like a very abstract description. So you don't waste time writing out a full prompt, because that does take a long time. Most prompts on average take around like 20 minutes to make. And so if you make one prompt every 20 minutes, that's like, you're wasting a lot of time. So
wait, where's this idea of most prompts take 20 minutes to make come from?
We kind of like benchmarked this across I recorded like all the times I made like a prompt that was actually working.
Yeah.
And it took a long time. So the prompt that we made for this was actually this is like some of the code. So here, basically what's going to happen is we have this idea, right? We want to make this diagram. What's going to happen is GPT-4 is going to enrich this prompt with very granular and very precise descriptions and categories of how to generate an image that looks like this.
Am I going to see the enriched things as well?
Yeah, so you're going to see the prompts, and here you go. So here's the prompts. This is the first iteration.
Yeah, and it's totally not what even does.
This is Stable Diffusion. I don't think Stable Diffusion is particularly...
Even DALL-E sucks at trying to do anything like...
So
diagrams are really not good.
It's a retrieval problem.
So this is
maybe the mermaid thing is a better approach for what I want.
So this is create a surreal digital painting of a wireframe. That's the first prompt. This is the image. And then, so basically the flow is the following. You have the description, right? Then that prompt is enriched. Then the idea is generated using an image generator. Then that image is evaluated using GPT-4 Vision.
Yeah, and you could save both credits and time if you allowed me to get feedback on the enriched thing before you sent it out. Because the thing that I really wanted and that I've been building is basically doing tree of thought prompting with other humans. That's what Rome has been doing for the last 2 years, or even tree of thought prompting with yourself. But if you do not like having the system do the whole thing without humans in the loop, you lose so much of the ability to steer. And you lose so much of the benefit of the tree of thought process is actually in how it changes your, the experience of evaluating the potential things allows very frequently for the generation of other options throughout the thing. So yeah, I'm doing black boxing too much means you're going to make it less steerable, and that sucks and is bad. And this is unsurprisingly just as far away from making progress the way I want the image to make progress.
Do you have a scene of an idea, maybe a dream?
I'll give another example where I didn't get the image right. I wanted an elephant being constructed by mitochondria. The idea is that mitochondria, because they make other mitochondria, even though they're building things very slowly, because they build the thing which builds the thing. An elephant is made out of mitochondria, right? So it is possible for mitochondria to create an elephant after first creating many thousand, successfully.
It's very out of distribution from the images that they're trained on.
Yeah, all of the things that I actually would want to use tree of thought prompting are going to be super far out of distribution, but also the main point for me of interacting with these things as a tool for thought as opposed to a tool for automation is situations where the experience of creation, I'm going to lean on this Paul Grapham idea. It's not from him. It's perennial, but we don't write to communicate our thoughts, we write to have our thoughts. You have not actually had the thought until you attempt to write it, and when you attempt to write it, you realize in the process of struggling to like articulate the thing, that is when the thought actually goes into clarification. That clarification allows for a new probabilistic field space of what your next thought is going to be. If you didn't write your first thought, you won't be able to have the second thought, right? So like, yes, you know, taking things through step by step also works for humans. Anything that actually is a prompt hack that makes the LLMs better will, like, I give very high priors to it will make your thinking better if you try to do it, but also like they can be cognitively exhausting.
Yeah, so we made this in like the span of like 20 minutes. Most of the time, again, took the prompt. The logic was pretty much already handled because the Swarms framework, you could just easily import these, and you could easily import the models. So like we use OpenAI, Stable Diffusion, and GPT-4 Vision to all handle their respective responsibilities. And so basically, this is like kind of like a design team swarm. Essentially, we have these various agents that fulfill purpose.
What's the agent that you do for evaluating? Because the nice thing about tree of thought prompting was the idea of that paper was that the models are much better at saying whether A is better than C. They're better at selecting a good idea from generating a good idea. And my question is that the question was basically like, I didn't see in the user interface any indication of first I don't see a tree, or the idea of breaking the problem down into multiple different steps and then selecting the best option at each level. So my question is how hard would it be to show what one of them was being selected and allow the end user to overwrite the selection at each step in the process?
It would not be particularly difficult. It would just be like refactoring some of the UI code, which is not really long. Yeah, but we could definitely. That's definitely.
It is a hard UI problem. I didn't say from trying to solve it. It's like
this is all the UI code.
We just started like moving off of. We basically have been rewriting Rome and React Flow because the tree is the tree that you get from an outline. So like Rome does allow you to express graphs. That's why block references are important. And that's why we've been able to run all these kinds of like complex flows amongst other intelligence. Basically, the advantage for us of working with Rome and a team that is trained in using Rome in this way is that well before we still don't really have human level intelligence from our LLMs, but we have other people that we can treat like LLMs, and so but the UI of outliners is really nice for writing things down, and it's really nice for doing the step-by-step stuff, but it's not an ideal form for like these kinds of chains where you're going to have different flows that end up intersecting with one another, and you're going to be like putting loops into your flows, and you're going to be like piping things in different directions, then re-merging them back together. And so we've pushed the outliner. The outliner is definitely the fastest and most ergonomic way of entering in a certain kind of lightly structured data, particularly around step-by-step and that kind of stuff, but it's not the right way for for reading those flows or building that stuff out. Yeah, so, but, so, anyways, does that answer?
We're top good.
Sick.
Vidhu, you are our final ultimate designer.
Okay, so let's see. So a lot of what we were working on yesterday was tools for thought, right? So kind of how can you have AI be like a good thought leader, work with you, all this stuff. So one of the projects that like we ended up doing was kind of having interruptions be built in as you use a voice chat with